بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسول الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. You're in for a special treat this lesson. I'm going to be continuing what we began in the previous video, so I do strongly recommend and suggest that you watch the previous video first if you haven't already before you watch this one. It will make a lot more sense. Let's begin. Bismillah. So the Sheikh says, وَمَا صُدِّقَ فِيهِ الْمُسْلِمُ صُدِّقَ فِيهِ الذِّمِّيُّ. So whatever a Muslim is believed in, a dhimmi, a non-Muslim subject of the Muslim empire will be believed in. This is to do with what we mentioned last time, the points about someone at the border saying, I've only had this well for a few months. Or somebody saying, I have a debt, so I can't give you anything. Or I've already paid it to somebody else. Or I've given it myself, right, to the poor. So we will believe the dhimmi, subhanallah. We will believe the one who lives, who has permanent residence or permanent residence to live or live amongst the Muslims, and we will accept them because they have a passport, if you like, to use modern jargon, they're part of our state. لأن ما يؤخذ منه ضعف ما يؤخذ من المسلم, because what we take from them is going to be double what we take from the Muslims, and we'll see how much that is. فَتُرَاعَ تِلْكَ الشَّرَائِطِ, and we will maintain these four conditions that I mentioned in the previous video. Because of that, they will give a double of what's taken from the Muslims. It's also mentioned in other books why they will be charged slightly more, and there's a very good reason for that. I'll come to that in a moment. And the second thing is, what about a Harbi? Now the Harbi, remember, he does not live in the Darul Islam. He doesn't live in a Muslim country. He doesn't have a passport. He's traveling, right? And usually they would come only for business. وَلَا يُصَدِّقُ الْحَرْبِيُّ إِلَّا فِي جَوَادٍ. And he talks about that we don't take what the Harbi says to us. We don't accept their oaths, but we do take it from a Muslim. And so they will pay a rate as well, which is double what the Dhimmi will pay. And he talks about certain things here. But the reason they pay primarily is because of himaya, because of protection. When they pay that tax, they are given protection by the Muslims, right? It's very similar to when we pay for a visa. When you travel to another land, in Darul Islam, you would come to Darul Islam, you would come with an aman as a Harbi, and you would be given protection. You would be protected from any form of harm that would come from you. And what are the rates? So I've just skipped one question here, which I don't want to go into. وَيُؤْخَذُ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِ رُبْعُ الْعُشْرِ. A Muslim will pay a quarter of a tenth, 2.5% if you like. The Dhimmi will pay twice that, which is 5%, and the Harbi will pay 10%. And this is what we've got from Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. But I want to show something else to you. This is in the Inaya, which is a commentary on the Hidayah. And he says, وَحَاجَةُ الذِّمِّي. The reason the Dhimmi, the non-Muslim subject, needs protection is greater than from a Muslim. That is why he is paying more, because there are people who will try and rob him because he's not seen as a Muslim. So he requires greater forms of protection as opposed to a Muslim, because in a Muslim land, a Muslim would never dream of stealing from a Muslim, but a non-Muslim might become victim to some form of robbery. So he requires extra protection. And he gives another example. And the Harbi requires more protection because if someone wants to take from a Harbi or harm a Harbi, they don't really have any jurisdiction, they don't have any protection, so they need more protection from the Muslims, so they pay more because of that. And then he uses a form of reasoning. He said, do you not know that the shahada, the witness of a person of a Harbi on top of a Dhimmi is not accepted. So if a Harbi was to make a claim or give witness against a Dhimmi, we would accept that because the Dhimmi is above the Harbi. Just like we wouldn't accept the Shahada of a Dhimmi over a Muslim. Right? He's bringing a hierarchy in. And the Shahada of a Dhimmi, the giving on testimony of a Dhimmi upon a Harbi is not is obviously it's accepted, right? Just like a Muslim would give is allowed to give testimony over a Dhimmi, Okay, so from a Dhimmi, we would take double what we would take from a Muslim, and in the same way, rationally speaking, we would take double of what's taken from a Dhimmi, tad'ifan, for the idea of this idea of doubleness, not because of some other reason. So that's important to bear in mind in this discussion. I'm going to move on just very, very swiftly. And he says, well, if a Harbi, a non-Muslim who's not from our land, only has less than a nisab, which is 50 dirhams, we don't take anything from them, right? Except if they take something from us, because we are doing mujaza. We've got this relationship with each other. It's a trade relationship, and we're working on the basis of reciprocal relationship, reciprocity. That's what we're doing as well. Okay, okay, this is what he mentions, and he says we will never take from them what's less than a nisab. Watch this, I've highlighted in yellow. We will never take from them what's less than nisab, even if they take it from us. Subhanallah, even if they take from us, if it's less than nisab, and we have an agreement with them, we're not going to do that, right? Because it's forgiven. But so we are mentioning here a higher ethical standard, and we're not going to take from them even if they were to do that to us, right? Because that person who's entered our land, we want to give him protection. Right? He needs protection as well. Okay, and then he talks about if someone was to pass by with 200 dirhams, right? And we don't know, and we don't know how much their country takes from us. Remember, we're doing trade with Darul Islam and Darul Harb. And like I said before in the previous video, it doesn't mean that we're fighting with them. Darul Harb basically means a land where there's no Islamic law. And we don't know how much they will take, how much they're charging us when we go to their land. We will do what Umar told us, which is to do the ushur, the 10%. Okay? Okay, now this is fascinating. Pay attention to this. وَإِنْ عُلِمَ أَنَّهُمْ يَأْخُذُونَ مِنْهَا رُبْعَ عَشْرٍ أَوْ نِصْفَ عَشْرٍ يَأْخُذُ بِقَدْرِهِ. We'll take from them what they take from us. We'll be fair, right? Whatever they charge us, we'll charge them. This is really, really important because people don't understand this, that it's a reciprocal relationship. Al-mujazat, remember that word, reciprocal relationship. Whatever they charge us, we're going to charge them. However, we make a special exception. وَإِنْ كَانُوا يَأْخُذُونَ الْكُلِّ لا نأخذ الكل. If they take everything off our people when they go to their lands, we will not do that. لأنه, look at this, لأنه غدر, because this is a form of deception, right? We don't behave like that. We don't behave in a treacherous manner as Muslims. If they want to charge us 100%, let them charge us 100%. We're not going to do that. Why? He mentions on the previous next page. وَإِن كَانُوا لَا يَأْخُذُونَ أَصْلًا لَا نَأْخُذُونَ. He says we don't do this. Oh, sorry, we don't do this. Because وَإِن كَانُوا لَا يَأْخُذُونَ أَصْلًا لَا نَأْخُذُ لِيَتْرُكُوا الْأَخْذَ مِنَ تُجَارِنَا. He says we don't do this. This is not the way we behave. And if they don't collect anything, we don't charge anything as well. So if they say you can come to our land for free, you can come to Darul Harb and we're not going to charge you, we're going to do the same thing as well. Okay? And also, وَلِأَنَّ أَحَقُّ بِمَقَارِمِ الْأَخْلَاقِ, because we are under obligation to maintain a higher level of morality, right? If they don't charge us, we're not going to charge them because we can't make it look like or seem like we are charging. Like when they're letting us get in to their lands for free without charging. This is really, really important because it shows you in wording, in the text itself, that we don't deceive. لِأَنَّهُ غَدٌ. We don't deceive people. If they want to charge 100%, we're not going to charge 100%. If they don't charge, we don't charge, because we are meant to become those who have best of character and morals, even when we're dealing with non-Muslim empires, neighbors, or Darul Harb. I want to point this out because this is very, very fascinating in the Hanafi mazhab. If you find this useful, please do leave the comments, please do share, please do subscribe to our channel. Assalamu alaikum.